Dear student, in this session we'll discuss about the function. So, what is a function? What is the merits and demerits of a function? And what is the format for the function? As well, in function, what are the different way of calling a function? These are the things we are going to be discussing. So first of all, the function are the building blocks of C++ program. It is a set of a statement into a single unit. So what is the main advantage or merits in this? Probably we can come to know that, see, n number of time we can call your program, that is a subprogram, that is what we call as a function, that is sometimes we call as a routine. Okay, so that will be reduce the program size. And as well, for example, if you're going to use to find the factorial, see, factorial done with the multiplication with n number of times. So that is, we can call that function n number of times. That will be reduce the program size as well as the memory space and reduce the program complexity. And one is easily we can understand, and also it can be debug. So this is the main merits of or advantage of function. So what actually the demerits? Here, the function, the parameter, like, we should call the function, that is what we call as a calling function, which is one it is called, that is called function. So how it will be executing? Compiler, it is first is invoked with the calling function and then jumps to the particular location where you are called it and you are defined the function. So then it will be executed that program and it has to be return the values if it is return value is present, otherwise it has to come back where it is called from. So this is the cycle once the function is going to be executing. So here main drawback is it takes the time to executing, like jumping to the particular location where it is called and come back. It takes the time here. So that is the main demerits. It consumes more time. So let me see that format of this function. Like, we have the return type and the function name, and there is an argument list. So there should be a body of your function, and it has at the end of that it has to be return value. So here we can see that what is the return type. It means that return value of which type. It may be an integer or it may be character or boolean, or argument. It has an argument, a number of arguments are there, or no arguments. That arguments may be a value or maybe a reference variable or maybe a pointer variable. So that is also we are going to be discussing with that, and then we'll see the simple program how we can define the function and call the function, and what we discussed about the advantages and disadvantages. We'll looking on that. So let's start with the simple program, addition of two number. Let's me take that int a comma b. I am taken the two number. Here I ask the user to enter the two number. Okay, so here I am taken the cin to entering the variable a as well as b. So I am taken the values of a and b, and then a simple I can addition I can do that within a single statement. So that is sum of two number. Sum is equal to, let me take it as, okay, the variable it is, we can add it as a plus b. Okay, it is added. Okay, and uh, okay, let me run this program. So this is the operation what I'm doing is, so addition of two number. Let me save this and execute it. Okay, and run the program. So let me add it some two number. So sum is equal to 55. So now let me convert this one into a function. So same here, the part of that code. So this is the part of this code. Okay, I converting into a function. So let me do it in the two way. One is, above the main function I can define the function, and below the main function. Let me do it. The first one is, above the main I can define that function. So here the same thing, I can take this part of the code. Okay, I'll paste it here. This, okay, I'll start with this. Okay, and end this. So this is the part, it is a body of this. So what actually I can call this name? So this is, I need to call a part of that code. So how I supposed to call it? Let me give some name of that function. Let me give it as add function. So here I'm not passing any argument from the main. Argument in the sense, you want to be add the two number, you want to send it the two number through this, or what exactly you need to do. So here I'm not passing any argument, so that there is a nil values here. And remember, this is the calling function. What we can say, this is a calling function, calling program. So I'll define it here. The function name is, I'm defining it the same name, add function. So this is a defined function. I'm not taken any value here. I'm just run this work. Okay. So remember, see, this is what we called as called function. Called function. So compiler has to be understand that what exactly add it is. So it wants as a prototype. Prototype tells that function, it has a value or means like argument or not. So here this called function itself acts as a prototype of this calling function, because you define this one as in above the main function. Okay, let me run this program. So there is a warning here, because as I told you that there should be a return value. Are you returning any value here? So you are not return any value, so that means the return type it is void. Okay, so that default, remember, the return value of any function, it should be a integer. That's what it is asking, that the error is, it's a int add or not. So there is a return type is mismatching. So that's what return type is, I mentioned as void. You are not return any value to the where you from called it. So let me run this program. So here it is asking two numbers, same process. The sum is 57. So likewise, so now what is the use this part of a code if you has taken as a function? Now the same function I can call n number of times. I'm calling the same thing. Okay, so the same I can go into call this function with no arguments. Again, let me see that. First enter the two number. Again it is invoking the same function. Again it is asking enter the two number. Let me add it now, negative number. It gives the sum of that number. Because you called this function twice by using the same name. The next concept will come across with that is a function overloading, because it gives the same name of function. It says that it's a function overloading. Right? So that means that, see, the same thing, if I want to do it for a number of execution twice, then the length of your program is increasing. Instead, the same code I can call n number of times with no parameter, or I can send the parameter also. That concept we'll discuss in the later stages. So now the advantage of function, it reduces the size, and here we can easily understand that, okay, this is the code, it is written for adding the two number, and you are calling that function twice here to executing twice this code. It means it is asking two number again, and it is run whatever the operation you did. Okay, and speed of the thing is only the disadvantages. Okay, so the complexity and understanding that program, it is easy, and length of the code, as I said, it is reduced as well. The memory space utilization by using function, it is very less. Now this part I defined below the main function. Let me see what it may be the difference. Let me save this, compile. Now it is asking that add was not declared in the scope. It means this has to be defined as a scope. In that means it should be in the globally, you need to define what exactly that add. So now I define that as a prototype. What is that? Function and return type of that. So it is return type is void. Okay, and this is the NAT. So this is your function prototype. Function prototype. Now let me run this program. So now it is compiler get understand that the prototype of that function add, it is mentioned. So then it is not giving any error. Now let me run the same thing. Enter the two number. Again it is asking enter the two number. So likewise we can run in the function. So now we can understand that. So how we can define the function, okay, where we can define in the sense that is what we call as a called function, and what is the prototype of that function, and what is a calling function. These are the concepts we should learn while discussing about the function. Okay, now in function definition, I'm not written any value. So I mentioned as return type is void. Let me return some value here. Okay, return in the sense where you from called it. Okay, so this part, the total part, I'll going to return to here. Okay, as we know that return type, it is mentioned here. The return value, it is copied into the prefix of your function where you are called it, right? So what I'm going to do, the value whichever you are added, that is I'm returning a return A plus B. Remember, return the value, it can be a expression, or it can be value, or it can be a address or a pointer variable. Okay, so I directly added the expression value, I returned it. So what is AB here? The type is integer. So return type, I should mention it is integer. So return to where it is copied into here. Let me define it here. So return type is integer. Okay, I taken one variable as z equal to that return value. Now whatever you returned it is copied into z here. Okay, after this I need to display that value z. So sum is equal to, I've taken, okay, I don't want to take it here. Okay, next the variable it is z. It's going to be display that the variable whichever you returned into z, and it will be displayed. Okay, so next after this I'm using that next line because I need to get it back to this function. Again I called one more time this function. So that time as usual the return type also it is copied here. So that is in different way I can mention. I directly write that cout sum is equal to, okay, here the return type directly where it is you mention prefix, it should be displayed directly the value. Okay, this is in the two way what we return. That one is copy the value, return value to z and display that, or directly return the value, it is directly you are under the object of cout statement. So then it will going to directly it will going to display that value. Okay, so now we'll run the program. Okay, there is an error because the prototype you mentioned as void, so there is in return type is integer. So now let me run this. So here return type I mentioned as integer, so the prototype also it has to be integer. Now run this program. So enter the two number. Again it is asking enter the two number. See what is happening here is sum 46, again sum is equal to, see here when it is happening here is first it is calling this function, it is executing return a plus b, copied the z, and it is printing sum is equal to. Next it printing that sum is equal to, then it is calling this function, it is coming again, it is asking enter the two number and return value it is going to display. That's what this function it is printing like that. Okay, so we need to alter this part in this manner only, in this manner we need to alter it. Okay, so this is the two way we can copy the return value and display. Okay, so now in function calling through parameters we are discussing here, we are not passing any parameter, so this is default, it is taken as a void, so that is default calling the function. Next we'll discuss about your